I am your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I want to look at AFE Babalola, the Nigeria police, and the arrest of Dele Farotimi and the rest of us. There are some historical facts that many young people don't know. Have you wondered why the name is Nigeria Police and not Nigerian Police? We have Nigerian Army, we have Nigerian Air Force, we have Nigerian Navy, but we have Nigeria Police. And then there is force at the end. We don't have Metropolitan Police Force. We don't have America Police Force. I will give you the genesis. Do you know that Nigeria had a police force before London? The Nigeria Police Force was established in 1920 with 1,200 members. The British police, the Metropolitan Police in London, was established 12 years later, in 1832. So, the Nigeria Police is a police force resident in Nigeria. It wasn't created for Nigerians or by Nigerians. Part of it, the Lokoja Constabulary that was created in 1888 was by the Royal Niger Company. It was the father of UAC and Unilever that created a police force in Lokoja. It was an occupation force, an exploitation force. The Metropolitan Police in the UK was created because of rising criminality in London. The purposes are different, so their orientations are different. And orientations in organizations hardly change. So you had police in Nigeria before London by the same British people. The Calabar Constabulary was created in 1894. Lagos Constabulary was created in 1896. In fact, there was a protest when the Lagos Constabulary was created, because it was mainly people from the Hausa Constabulary that were moved to Lagos. And so you see, in this country, most times if you are traveling in areas where dissent is supposed to be suppressed, you will see people from the northern part of Nigeria predominantly along the roads and in control. It is not their fault. They are a creation of the British. Now, what was the purpose of the police force in Nigeria? Its main purpose was to stifle dissent to colonial rule. Number one, subdue indigenous societies. Number two, to protect imperial rule. Number three, to suppress labor unions. Number four, to protect the businesses established by the Royal Niger Company. If you have studied political economy like as I did, you will discover that all the railway lines were moving from areas of raw materials to areas of export. So from the north to Calabar, to Port Harcourt to Lagos, then from Enugu to Port Harcourt to transport coal. They were not established for the good of the people. The railway lines were established to convey exploited materials down to the coastline for export. Let me tell you one other thing that will shock you. If you look at most coastal cities like Sapele, Warri, Port Harcourt, and maybe Calabar, and an inland city like Aba, you will see that the GRA, or the European quarters, where the colonial masters lived, was separate from where the black people lived. And you will see that the houses are spaced. There must be an open golf course, football field between where the Europeans lived and where the poor people, the black people, lived. There was one in Ughelli between the police station, the GRA, and the market, and where the poor people lived. The simple reason, go and read the Dual Mandate, written by Lord Lugard in 1922. That simple gap in between was a malaria prevention treatment. So that if mosquito beat black people in the urban area, mosquito cannot fly more than 150 feet to 250 feet with blood in its system. And malaria is transmitted by the Anopheles mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito. So they gave that gap. And look at the houses in the GRA. They gave gap between them so that if mosquito bites somebody here, it cannot fly to the next building. It was a malaria prevention system. And then they brought the market. The market is in between the GRA and the water side in some cases. And then the railway line will come close to where the GRA is to carry the materials. And then there is the police station between the people and the colonial masters. All these are. Then they will bring the church. The church is usually placed somewhere between where the people lived and where the GRA is. So that is the way the colonial masters operated. So the police force, Nigeria police force, not Nigerian police force. I first gave this lecture to the Police Public Relations Committee at Asaba. They came from all over the country to Asaba for a meeting. The police cannot become our friend unless these key factors are removed from their minds. Suppression of labor union, protection of the British colonial system, protect imperial rule, and to subdue local dissent. The main purpose was not to investigate criminality. And so it is this mentality that you still see in operation. You will see the elite with 3, 4, 5 policemen protecting them. And the masses that are being kidnapped, that are being vandalized by bandits, by whoever, they are left vulnerable. If there is any roadblock at all, you will see that the elite will drive past with their police escorts, no matter what they are carrying, while the poor men in their motorbikes, in their keke napep, might even be told to trek across, while the rich men who are the criminals will drive past. So that is, and you see, so somebody like AFE Babalola, who is the highest taxpayer in Ekiti State, who is one of the oldest lawyers, who is like a king in Ekiti State, who has so much influence, you dare not talk against him. Like as Dele Farotimi did, he will send the police after you. That is indigenous colonization. You see, you talk about any prominent pastor who is exploiting the masses, he will send the police after you. So that is the colonial mentality of the Nigeria police force. Until we have a Nigerian police without force that is not represented by an elephant, we will keep having this shooting at protesters. I will do a video on the Aba riot, women riot, and the Egba women riot, and how no matter what they do, history has a way of repeating itself. No matter what they do, history has a way of repeating itself if you want to oppress the people. So, what you are seeing, arresting Dele Farotimi, detaining him, whether they've released him now, I'm not sure whether the video I saw was before he was arrested and detained and denied bail. I don't know. I don't think they have released him because he's supposed to appear in December 10th. So, people like AFE Babalola, they are representatives of the colonial masters. Your bishops that arrest, your general overseers that arrest journalists that say anything against them, or bloggers that say anything against them, they are a representative of the colonial masters. They are the black people who are now representing the colonial masters. Have you ever wondered why we always go to Chatham House to go and discuss as presidential candidates from Nigeria? We are still colonized. That's why a mumu like me is still answering Charles. Thank God for our northern brothers. They hardly answer English names. Thank God for somebody like Fela Anikulapo Kuti that changed his ransom to Anikulapo Kuti. So it is what we are seeing is indigenous African Nigerian colonization and utilization of the Nigeria, not Nigerian, Nigeria police force as an agent of oppression and suppression. And the courts, even the lawyers, a lot of them, the prominent ones, are British people wearing black skin. That's why you see their hood is still British. I think Mali is changing it now. America changed their own. We are still a colony, believe it or not. The police force needs to be reorganized, rejigged, the mentality changed from the colonial mentality where my uncles, when police come in to collect tax, they ran into the bushes in those days, to become a police force, that a police organization, not force. Remove that word force. Change the logo of an elephant. Change it. That destructive, forceful animal. Remove it. And let's create a friendly police agency. This is one of the things that you need to understand. An agency created in the colonial mindset, the same training they go through till today, cannot produce a different set of human beings. I remain Dr. Charles Apoki. God bless you.